Hello again, friends. This is for my grade 7 friends. We're going to be starting our project today on 7 elements of art and design. This is what essentially we're going to be doing today. So everybody is going to get a template that is essentially a circle divided into 7 parts. So I'm going to open this up and kind of give you a better idea. So we've already talked about the 7 elements of art and design. We've already watched that video, okay? But here we go. These are the examples that I'm looking for this project. I want every section here, I want you to show me visually what your idea of those elements is, okay? So inside your template, okay, you're gonna illustrate each section of the wheel and you're gonna demonstrate that element of art, okay? Now, our templates only have 7 pizza slices, okay? This one has 8 and there's a space for the actual title. We are not going to do that, okay? We're just going to do the 7 elements, okay? So space, line, shape, color, form, texture, value. It has to be completed illustration inside each of the sections, okay? And it has to be your own work. And it can be anything. You can go ahead and you can do the same illustration in every single one with a different twist to illustrate that type of element, okay? I'm just going to show you some different sort of examples. Here are some examples. Here is one that's kind of like a square shape that somebody did. Obviously, we're working within a circle, so this is a little different, but here are some different ways to kind of think about how to illustrate these ideas. So when we talk about texture, this person went ahead and just did a bunch of different textures all together. Shape, a bunch of different shapes all together. And now for shape, and then turning shape into form, not all of these elements are the same. Some teachers teach it differently. But if you were to wanted to do form, you could do all of the same shapes on the opposite side, but just make them 3D. So instead of a square, you could do a cube over here. And instead of a triangle, you could do a pyramid over here. For colors, you could do a rainbow, okay? It's whatever works for you. For line, you could do a sort of like a jumble of like all different types of lines here. And on this side, we have kind of a more colorful way of looking at it, but value, they have kind of a dark to light illustration. For line, they used all different kind of lines to create like a psychedelic idea. Color, they used a disco ball. Shape, they used all different types of shape to create kind of like a sun and a rocket ship. Texture, they did a whole bunch of really bumpy cactuses, which is really neat. Form, they did 3-dimensional shape here. They did a 3D mushroom, which is neat. And then space. Space is really cool. I like how they did this actually, because space is really well done here, because they kind of space things out differently. It's technically the same landscape as up here in texture, but they actually spaced things out a lot differently. They placed a bunch of cactuses here way far in the background, and they left a lot of sky open. So it's a really good example of space. So like I said, everybody is going to get a template, and I will just really quickly show you that template. It should be here somewhere. Okay, I'm just going to show you on my little camera down here. But it's a circle. It looks like this. I'm just going to grab it for you. So this is the grade 7 version because it's just an introduction, but it looks like this. You're going to get one of these, and it is labeled, and one of the labels is unfortunately cut off over here, and this is supposed to be form, okay? So the very first thing you do when a teacher gives you a piece of paper is you put your name on it, okay? You are not expected to finish this today. We're going to have at least one more class to do it. I will have your guest teacher collect your work. When you are finished, you have to put your name on it. You don't get a mark for anything you don't put your name on, okay? So I'd like you to get started. Start with pencil. Just outline your ideas. Then you can go into it with Sharpie, either a thin or a thick Sharpie. I do have some Sharpies in the green bin over on the ledge, okay? Everything else that you might need is on your carts over here. I'm going to remind you that if you decide to take one of my Sharpies on a little walk in your pocket, you'll be expected to replace it. Okay, I have a very, very intense inventory of my supplies. I know exactly how many Sharpies I have. And every single class, I count them at the end of the day. And if one of them has gone missing, I know exactly which class it went missing from. Keep that in mind, okay? There are pencils, colored pencils, erasers. And then when you're finished, if you happen to finish, think about how you finished so early, first of all. Go back, add some detail. make it a 4. Make it a 4 if you can. Do a little bit extra. Maybe you want to color all of the sections except for value or form or whatever. Maybe you want to do color for every single section. I didn't ask you to do that. That's above and beyond, okay? So think about that. If you have any questions, you can send me an email on Janezpez, or you can ask your guest teacher to shoot me a text. Other than that, I can answer all your questions when I see you next, okay? Have fun. This is supposed to be very chill, okay? I am marking it, so do your best. But have a blast, and I will see you next time.